So if someone were to ask me the question, have you enjoyed the 21 years in the wheelchair? How would I answer this one? I guess I would have to say, in the past 21 years, I've won some and I've lost some.
I've won some and I've lost some, but us dreamers don't complain. We keep reaching out for passion, no matter what the pain. When I look into
Life is an amazing experience where we win some and we lose some. And I guess it all goes down to whether we can balance the two. And I believe that the 21 years that I've spent on this wheelchair have assisted me in mastering the art of balancing the two. Time has traveled very fast, but I'm happy that at least I've kept with the times.
I let my heart be touched in my time.
What has also made these 21 years to be truly remarkable is the fact that I've grown from a boy into a man today. I've taken responsibilities. Today I'm a father, I'm a husband, taking care of my own family. And I guess I also learned from my parents that in order to enjoy these moments where you have these responsibilities as a father, you need to celebrate every single one of the days. Because in celebrating our days, we then come to shape our sense of responsibility and can grow a child. So yeah, part of what has happened in the 21 years that has truly made me feel like I'm a special character is the fact that today somebody calls me daddy. My daughters also, as Nozeyanda, are the apple of their daddy's eye. And I'll be sitting at home and they're playing around and you feel like, really, me, I've given birth to these young people who are also growing up with their own dreams and are wanting daddy to guide them forward. It has been beautiful. Yeah. And in 2005, I registered with Valhalla Arts. And through Valhalla Arts, over these 21 years, I've also gotten to meet some exciting people that have taught me a thing or two about life. I've sat in front of children with disabilities who have inspired me to understand what our natural energy is towards the possible.
Comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together.
And you'll sit with these children and literally feel like throwing your arms in the air and singing "We Are the World."
We are the world. We are the children. Our children. We are the ones who make a better day. So let's rock it. So let's rock it.
Beautiful experiences. You then take these kids on rides and they come out talking about the beauty of living in a society that sometimes throws them moments where they also feel like they are part of our celebrations. I've had a wonderful time.
The Gautrain and Centre on Wheels are celebrating international human rights in style by taking these kids over here on a train ride, and for them it's their first time being on this train.
We are here today to celebrate number one Human Rights Day, and people with disabilities are part of the human race. And as people with disabilities, we felt we should assemble, celebrate the day in style.
We designed this train from the bottom up. We designed it to be friendly for people with special needs, and we thought that we could combine that and the Christmas joy. So we got Santa Wheels to come and bring a lot of children, and I think it's the first time for them on the train, and they can actually see how easy it is to move on the train with people with wheelchairs, people with special needs, go to the toilets. Everything has been built to accommodate them, and I think it's magic.
Caring society and a giving society also gives to its children in a form of its infrastructure. This is why we took them to the Gautrain today to say, look at what your society has given to you. A train that is fully accessible in terms of your mobility needs. But not only a train that is fully accessible alone, but also a full infrastructure in a form of these buildings that can allow a child with a disability to grow up in a society where they know that if I want to take myself from point A to point B, I do not have to be worrying about a lot because infrastructure and a lot has already been made available for me. We're going to be giving to these children gifts, your toys, your stationery material, your food, your whatever that you can ever call part of the festivity of the festive season.
For Mashego for Joburg today.
Yeah, and as a creative person, you sit down and you create this little world of your own. You draw this artwork and people relate to them. It's like over the 21 years, I've been sharing my life with people who are not only just interested, but are also wanting to see how these expressions also allow them to understand and cut through social stereotypes. Because when we people with disabilities start showing our abilities, myself for instance as an artist, and people come around to look at your artwork, wanting to touch them, communicating with you what these artworks say to them, it's a pleasure. Because you suddenly realize that I'm living in my own little world that other people also access in a way that excites them too. Yeah. And then you sit down and you write these books and you find people in libraries paging through your lines, quoting your lines in their own works. It's an experience that I cherish forever. An experience that has made me understand Uguti. Now I can also contribute to social literature. But not only in terms of writing, but allowing people to engage with these lines in a way that assists them in society develop their own programs for the well-being of the vulnerable. Yeah. Just allow me to. Okay, you want me to move now? Okay, let's start it from here. You know, with me, art and poetry have a relationship. You'll find that sometimes I'll have this picture in my mind of an artwork, and the picture does not only want to translate itself into a drawing, but also into beautiful poetic lines. I remember when I was starting with this book, Mastering the Art of Self-Motivation, and thinking, what's going to be the intro? And the number one as an I appeared in my mind, and I thought maybe what this is saying is the poem that should start the book should be I now. Let me read the poem for you. I now. I have come to realize that everything I have gone through in my time, sins and dreams has laid the white foundation, created a solid platform, and shaped the imposing tower of all the body of knowledge together with the wisdom I now possess. It is these ever-changing moments that have been the fountain of my life, from which the trickling stream that is me flows down the waterfalls to the meandering rivers, which stretch through the raging rapids in graceful inspiration, destined for lands far away, all the way into the crashing giant waves of the majestic blue oceans. I love it when things happen like this. A beautiful poem, is it not? Yes, I've also worked with other great creative minds. I remember in 2013 when I got the opportunity to work with Ujo Nina, one of the most celebrated South African artists, and Ujo was in KwaZulu-Natal, and we sat down and I proposed, I said, Joe, why don't we do a Paul Simon's Black Mambazo type of arrangement, I said, you know what are you talking about? I introduced them to the Green Parades. Wonderful guys from MUSA. They sat down Kumakila Joe Record Studios and came out with Awuyeg, classical song. And if you listen to all of this music that has come out of just being creative, and I'm a person that loves music, it's a great blessing, yeah. Yeah, because it is when people with disabilities now engage with these social topics of gender violence against women and children that people with disabilities say, hey, we also have a voice, and can say it is not just our right as people with disabilities not to be attacked, but it is also the right of others that are also equally vulnerable to be protected. And when you start doing that in music, then it automatically means you have introduced people with disabilities as musical instruments in the orchestra of peace. Yeah, and over the 21 years, I've also been blessed with the opportunity to sit with young people with a dream to become somebody in future. And it's amazing when a person is chasing after their dream and they catch it. And some of them have become celebrated motivational speakers. I remember when I met Nduli, Clement Nduli. He just wanted to be a motivational speaker, and today Nduli has even written a beautiful book. And Nduli is an established motivational speaker today. I've had a wonderful time where even some of the friends with disabilities have even asked me to come to their weddings and participate as a guest speaker. A beautiful experience of introducing not only the friend to the audience, but also the fact that in disability we also can find love. You know, when you hear people with disabilities saying, nothing about us without us, this is the lesson I've learned over the 21 years. Which I cannot be categorizing myself as part of this sector without going out to this sector to understand exactly what this sector is all about. I could never position myself or even define myself as the mouthpiece for people with disabilities. But in writing my story as a person with a disability, I also touch on issues that also affect them. But in order to write about those things or even talk to those things, I need to be with people with disabilities, learning from them, not only of what they are going through, also of what they are expecting society is going to give to them, as they themselves give to society first. Yeah, so they say nothing about us without us. I've learned in the 21 years that there is going to be nothing about me without me, which is why I take pride in full control I have over my creative work through Valhalla Arts. So when I talk to people that want to establish their own businesses, I'll always say, the ultimate aim is to take pride in the full control you exercise over your work. Because then you can always celebrate your work your own way. Nothing about me without me. Now this is what we refer to as this ability. This ability to say, I am what I am. Take me as I am. I've lived my life and I've had my dream. So yes, if I were to do it over and over again, these 21 years have been a blessing that I will always say to God, thank you for, and thank you to all of you for sharing it with me. You know, an old master of language once said something very profound to me. This guru said, it's not about how you enter, it's about how you exit. The question is going to be, have these 21 years only just been my grand entrance? Or have these 21 years been the building blocks towards a spectacular exit? I remember one day when I was conducting a motivational talk, and I said to the audience, I would rather be a finisher. No, I would rather be a beginner than a finisher. Because a beginner can still plan for and execute a spectacular finish. I sure hope that my work will forever be my spectacular finish, so that other people of coming generations can sit down and say, not only did he write, draw, and speak, but he also left us with a legacy of works eternal that we can always refer to find our own self-motivation and even excellence.